Yeah, welcome back. So now it's testing or tasting time. So how many brave hearts we have? 25. Okay. Let's wait for a few moments and then we'll resume. What we'll do in this session is I'll present you a question. Right? I'll keep on writing the numbers also on that. Right? Yes, that's right. If it is the inhibitory signal, right? It is the GI, right? Because GI is meant for sending the negative signal, right? Inhibitory signal, we'll say inhibitory signal. So when we are sending inhibitory signal, so actually GI is working, right? So GI is positively working, but its work is negative. So you are right, right? That it is positive. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so let's see, the numbers are rising, but fine. This would be our testing style. On the entire screen, there would be one question, right? There would be one question. All the questions, they are pretty simple. Everything what we discussed, it is from that only. And definitely we have, let's say, released many of the questions. Now, in that, the questions are written in such a way that they will be giving you some concept also. And then there would be a fill in the blank. Right? So that's where you have to answer it. In some of the cases, there are options. In some cases, I have not put any option. It's like the the keyword has to be there. So it's so obvious that you should not be missing it. And because it is for the first time, so we'll keep about 30 to 40 seconds, right? 30 to 40 seconds for every question. So that way in 10-12 minutes, we should be able to finish our test. Then we'll go back and we'll discuss every question. And you have to keep on ticking that whether were you able to answer it correctly or not. Right? Yeah, that's exam time. And only after we complete the entire discussion, you will give your score into the box, right? So that I know that who is doing well or who has got some problem. From tomorrow, yes, we are starting the 2-day session for immunity, right? Later on, I realized that someone asked that why the name, right? Survive 5 days. See, this is the reason that survive 5 days. That was for the purpose that for these 5 days, these 10 sessions, if you survive, you attend all the sessions and you revise it properly, trust me, your concepts, they will be so beautiful and you will be having so much of clarity on so many subjects. It's not only pertaining to physiology, but even your other subjects, the concepts in those will be much, much better, right? So that's why it was like the 5 days survival. Survive for 5 days. For 5 days, stick to the schedule and attend all 10 sessions. It will make a big difference, right? Okay. So numbers are pretty good. I think we should launch the test because now if anyone would join from in between, they might miss certain questions. Okay, I think numbers are steady and we are good to go. So, all right, friends, be ready, right? Take a piece of paper and write down 1 to all the way up to 20, right? In in every question you have to answer, it's a one word answer, just a one word answer. And in some cases, slightly longer, but it would not be more than 1 or 2 words, right? So that's what you have to answer. So very neatly, just write down 1 to 20 Yes. Let's start. Right? So 1 to 20, all done. Good. We have reached to the figure of 50, which is not bad at all. Right. So that's like good one. Oh, it is rising. Nice, nice. Okay. Here is the first question. I'll be starting with very easy questions. Here is the first question, the number one. Head of the phospholipid is hydrophobic or hydrophilic? Head of the phospholipid is hydrophobic or hydrophilic? Yeah, I know it is easy. I'm keeping a track of, say, 30 seconds. Right? Because this is easy. 30 seconds should be more than enough. Arey, don't write here. Baba, you don't have to write it over here. Right? Don't write answers over here. Don't do it. I know you might be knowing the answer, but it is test for everyone. You don't have to type. Stop, stop, stop. Understand it. Exams cannot go like this. Who said to type it over here? Right? Why are you doing this? This will kill the entire pleasure. It happens invariably like that sometimes if I'm not knowing the answer and if someone answers, I would say, yes, yes, I was knowing it. No. You have to test yourself. You are not fighting with anyone. You are working with yourself. Yeah, that's okay. I can turn off the chat. But I don't like to do that. Seriously. It's like I trust you. So don't do that. I know because that's the only thing which I have to do. But I don't like it. I really feel that if you feel like yes, you should be able to talk with me. Okay, but I know you guys are all good and it won't happen again. No problems. No problems. No, Anushka, I trust them. I trust you. Right. Okay. So those who might have joined afterwards, after I told that, right? Just on a piece of paper, take a page, right? On that, write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 20. And then let's say this was just an example, right? Now let's take this first thing as an example. And when it was asked, the head of the phospholipid layer is hydrophobic or hydrophilic. So in your book, you will just write against number one that it is hydro and whatever you want to write, right? You know it is hydrophilic. Okay, it loves water, right? And we don't talk about one who hates. So that's why head likes hydrophilic. So that's how we'll go. Okay. All right. Now we are moving on to the second question. Please, please, how much number of each question? How much you want? Say we are generous, we can put 100 marks, right? Why to do conjusi, right? 100 marks for correct question. Yeah, this is a good idea. 100 marks for correct question, right? It looks massive, right? When you tell someone that I have scored 1000 marks, 1500 marks, yeah, you have to write on the page. That's right. Right. That's right. You have to write on a page, right? And then you have to say calculate at the end. Okay. So anything. It's like just put 1 mark. That would be good. So straight away we'll come to know. Later on we'll be adding the negative marking also. Not right now. This is the first test, and I would make it even more interesting because so many ideas they are coming up in my mind that yes, we can make it still more interesting. But let's start with today's first test. Okay. All right, chalo. Let's put 5 marks each. Why respect you? 5 marks for correct. Let me erase everything. Right. And gone. And this is question number one. Yes, the final instructions. This is question number one. Each question is 5 marks, 5 marks each, right? And you have to write on paper. You don't have to, no negative marks, right? Today, no negative marks. Yeah, 100 is too much. We can put even 1 million also, right? How massive it looks like when you tell your mom that you have scored, say, 15 million marks, right? It looks so gorgeous. Anyway, okay. So here it is, starting with the first question, and you have to write in book, okay, in your page, on that page. You don't have to write, you don't have to type in the chat box. Moving on to the second question. The first is done. That was the first, but do write it, right? One. Next question. The next question is this: carrier or channels? Which one would you select? That those are the proteins that have binding sites for specific molecules. It is carrier or channels. What is the correct answer? No, there is no negative marking. No negative marking. Carrier or channels. What's your take? For those proteins, for those that have binding sites for specific modules or for specific molecules. That's number 2. Moving on to the third question, right? The third question. The tail of the phospholipid is hydrophobic or hydrophilic? The tail of the phospholipid, right, is hydrophobic or hydrophilic? Don't type, right? I'm just putting a gap of 30 seconds for everyone. So exactly at 30 seconds, I'll move on to the next question. Moving on to the fourth question. This is question number 4. Small non-polar molecules, they can or they can't easily diffuse across the cell membrane. Those who are small and those who are non-polar, they can or they can't easily diffuse across the cell membrane. All right. We move on to the next question. Question number 5. The cell membrane contain, this is question number 5, it contains something which makes the membrane more fluid at low temperature. At low temperature, if things are not crushing, so there is someone who is making it fluid, who is preventing it from crushing, who is keeping it good. What is that? Right? So in this, there is no option. You have to just write the answer. Five more seconds. And the next question is, this is easy, right? The cell membrane is made up of a bilayer of, that's quite easy. So I'll just give 15 seconds. And we move on to the next one. Just 5 more seconds and we move to the next question. The next question is, compared to epinephrine. Now, compared to epinephrine, norepinephrine is more, less, or equally potent at beta 1 adrenergic receptor. Beta 1, we are very, gentlemen, don't write answers over here. You don't have to write answers into the chat box, right? Don't even write anything in the chat box, because now you have to first 4-5 questions, therefore they were for warm up. Now the questions have started. So though these last 14-15 questions, you'll like it. So compared to epinephrine, we are talking about comparison. Compared to epinephrine, norepinephrine is less, more, or equally potent, but specific for beta 1. Specific for beta 1 adrenergic receptors. Remember that table, right? Remember that table. So in which we wrote one chemical and then we wrote second chemical, right? Do remember that. Okay, moving on to the next question. Now you have to think. Beta 2, this is question number 8. Okay, am I right? It is question number 8. Yeah, this was 7, this is 8. Okay, question number 8. Beta 2 adrenergic receptors are present on the wall of GIT, on the bladder wall, and on bronchioles. Where they induce what? They induce contraction or they induce relaxation. Write in your book. Don't write in chat box. Right? These are the questions which you should answer very correctly, because that will tell your understanding and concept. And it's okay in case if it goes wrong, because we'll be discussing it, so it'll still more clarify the concepts. Okay, moving on to the 9th question. The 9th question is beta 1 or beta 2 or beta 3. Adrenergic receptors are present on adipose tissue where they stimulate lipolysis by fat cells. Which one? Beta 1, beta 2, or beta 3? Out of them, which one is correct? 1, 2, or 3? That's question number 9. Moving on to question number 10. This is number 10. Activation of alpha 1, right? Alpha 1 adrenergic receptors on vascular smooth muscle typically result in vasodilation or vasoconstriction. What would happen when you stimulate alpha 1 adrenergic receptors specifically on vascular smooth muscles? Right? Specific on vascular smooth muscles. This answer, it can be even guessed from what the content is given. You can use your logic also. That's why some of the information has been kept, that it is a vascular smooth muscle. You are dealing with adrenergic receptor, and then that is the alpha 1. Next question, 11. Norepinephrine, 11, and epinephrine. Norepinephrine and epinephrine have almost the same or a different potency at alpha 1 adrenergic receptors. Again, that table in which we drew things widely. Moving on to the next one. This is 12. Beta 2 adrenergic receptors are preferentially activated by beta 2, right? We are talking about beta 2. Just give you the hint that out of them only one is correct, not both of them. So beta 2 adrenergic receptors are activated by epinephrine or norepinephrine. It's activated by a neurotransmitter or it is activated by the hormone released from adrenal cortex, adrenal medulla. Question number 13. Think of beta 2 adrenergic receptors, they increase intracellular concentration of what? What is that substance which is increased in beta 2 adrenergic receptors? Beta 2 adrenergic receptors. So in beta 2 adrenergic receptors, when this is increased, it will lead to so many things into the cell, right? So many new things into the cell. So which was that substance? Moving to question number 14. Alpha 1 or alpha 2? Which adrenergic receptor, right? Receptor act by increasing intracellular concentration of calcium. We have got two options, alpha 1 or alpha 2. Right? Who will? It's an adrenergic receptor which act by increasing intracellular concentration of calcium. Who will increase increased calcium, alpha 1 or alpha 2? Moving to next 15th. Nicotinic receptors, which subtype? Right? Now today we have not discussed this thing. This was discussed yesterday. And in nicotinic receptors, there are two subtypes, right? Because it is exam time, I can't help you. I can't say. But out of those two, which subtype are present in, watch, skeletal muscle on the motor end plate? Skeletal muscle on the motor end plate. You can just say that we are talking about the end. We are talking about the end, last portion. We are not talking about middle one. So nicotinic receptors, which subtype that's present in the skeletal muscle on the motor end plate? Number 16. Number 16. Which one are we talking about? Nicotinic or muscarinic receptor that acts as a transmembrane sodium-potassium channel and when activated leads to intracellular depolarization. See, a big hint is there. We are talking about only the ions, right? That's what I can say. Out of these two receptors, which one would act as a transmembrane sodium-potassium channel and when activated lead to intracellular depolarization? Next one. This is number 17. The nicotinic receptor opens when acetylcholine binds to alpha, beta, gamma or delta. Which subunit? This is a sitter. right? This is so easy. So easy. I don't think anyone would make a mistake in this. This is that easy. So straight away, let's move to next question. This is question number 18 coming up. Yes. Now this is, can you read it fully? Yeah, you can. Yeah. Okay, this is good. This is question number 18. Muscarinic receptors M1, M3, and M5, right? They increase intracellular concentration of which ion, right? Which ion? Which together with DAG, diacylglycerol, results in tissue specific action, right? We are talking about ion. So that DAG is requiring what? So that he becomes superpower and then he can work on all tissues. I can't say more than this. Okay, moving on to the next one. That's number 19. Muscarinic receptors, which one? Are present on all effector organs and in the parasympathetic nervous system. Muscarinic receptors, 3 of them, right? Out of M1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That I can say. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of them. Which one is present on all effector organs? Means that is the basic requirement for parasympathetic nervous system action of parasympathetic nervous system. So out of M1, M2, M3, M4 and M5, which 3 are needed? Sorry. 20th and the last question. Yeah, last question. This is good. This is 20. The nicotinic or muscarinic, which receptor is a channel consisting of 5 subunits, 2 alpha, to which acetylcholine binds, 1 beta, 1 delta, 1 gamma, right? Is it nicotinic or muscarinic? Now at times it looks like it's such an easy question. Yes, right? Even in exam it happens like that. But yes, people do reply wrong to even this question. It happens. So why to make that mistake in exam, right? This is like your home ground. Make as much mistakes as possible. No worries. Because it's like after the end of it, once you know it, you will never be making that mistake again, right? So it is completely fine. So that was like 20th question. Okay, this was 20. Now, done. Okay, and we start with the answers of it. So let's see all the questions one by one. This says this the no marks, right? Head of the phospholipid is hydrophilic or hydrophobic, as we said that we don't believe in, say, this hatred, right? So it is hydrophilic. That's fine. LG, this is okay. Okay, this is the next one. Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow is kite day, but still we'll study. We'll study. We'll study for, say, just till afternoon. Right? Even I was under that impression, but then I thought that, say, it's okay. Means if it is a festival, so we should study more on the festival. Otherwise, then for rest of the day, to is ours. Na? So we'll study. Good, good, good. Okay, so here it is. Whether it is carrier or it is channel proteins that have binding sites for specific molecules. That's right. They are the carrier proteins, right? Because it is the carrier protein, like say GLUT4, right, which will carry these specific molecules into the cell. The tail of the phospholipid layer is, well, this was that it is lipophilic, but at the same time it is hydrophobic, right? This was the reason it was drawn like this, that here, right, water is here, but in between, no, it is not liking. It is the lipid loving, but hating water. So over here it would be hydrophobic. Small non-player. This was so easy, right? One, so it is small, and on the top of it, it is non-polar, so completely innocent, absolutely harmless, right? Those cute little fellows, they can easily diffuse without any trouble across the cell membrane, right? That's right. Then the cell membrane contain hydrophobic, no? That's what you, yeah, that's right. Now the cell membrane contain, which makes the cell membrane more fluid at low temperature? None other than the cholesterol, right? Cholesterol. I think everyone must have answered it correctly. Good. The cell membrane is made up of a bilayer of, and if someone has not answered this correctly, right, I'll personally come and hit that person. Right? Bilayer of, that's okay, right? Phospholipid. Okay. Compared to epinephrine, norepinephrine is, because we are talking about beta 1, right? It is equally, right? It is equally potent. They both work on this beta 1, alpha 2, and the beta 1, right? Yeah, that's right, phospholipids. Moving on to the eighth one. This is good. So beta 2 adrenergic receptors are present on the wall of GIT, on bladder wall, and the bronchioles, where they induce, okay, adrenergic is what we are talking about, right? It is the adrenergic receptors. Now adrenergic receptors, when they are acting on wall of GIT, well, GIT should not be working, right? It should not be working. Then bladder should not be working. Bronchioles should not be constricted, otherwise breathing will be a problem, because this is like a stress situation. It is the sympathetic activity which is right now on the run, and we require GIT, you don't work, bladder, you don't work, and bronchioles, you dilate, better you dilate, right? So over here the answer would be relaxation, right? You don't want GIT to contract, you don't want bladder to contract, and right, so that's how this is for relaxation. The next one, right? Beta 1, beta 2, or beta 3 receptors are present on adipose tissue. Yeah, yesterday we talked about it, right? It is this beta 3 which is for adipose tissue, right? Activation of alpha 1, this is fine. Activation of alpha 1 adrenergic receptors on vascular smooth muscle typically result in what? Right? This is when we are talking about adrenergic, right? So adrenergic will do what? Adrenergic will be requiring, yeah, adrenergic will be requiring that, yes, this is the stress situation. Stress situation, that means it should be increasing blood pressure. For increasing the blood pressure, right, you have to narrow down, right? You have to constrict the smooth muscle. So typically it results in constriction. So vasoconstriction, that is what will raise those blood pressure, right? Excellent. 11th. Norepinephrine and epinephrine have same or a different potency at alpha 1, right? Alpha 1 was right in the beginning, right in the beginning. Alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, right here and here it was like this, right? So they both have same potency, right? So they have got the same potency, right? They got the same potency at these receptors. Moving on to the 12th one, beta 2. Beta 2 adrenergic receptors are preferentially activated by epinephrine or norepinephrine, right? This is, we are talking about beta 2, right? So it has to be epinephrine because this is what it will be working for. Say here, why we say epinephrine? Because alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, first these three, they are by norepinephrine, right? And then all of them, they are by epinephrine. We are talking about beta 2. So beta 2 has to be by epinephrine. You got the answer? Got the answer right? Okay, right? So this, that's why I said that that table will give you the clue. Okay, moving on to the 13th one. Sorry. So beta 2 adrenergic receptors, they increase intracellular concentration of what? Right? This is, if you have heard properly, right? I gave you all the hints for all those tissue activity. What is that substance which is increasing, right? It is cyclic AMP, right? It is the cyclic AMP which is leading to formation of this entire tissue response. Yes, alpha 1 or alpha 2 adrenergic receptors, they act by increasing intracellular concentration of calcium, right? Increase intracellular concentration of calcium. Yes. So what was this? It has to be alpha 1, right? Because we are talking about that entire cycle, right? Entire cycle, which will be going for finally the increased intracellular concentration of calcium in the plasmic reticulum. Yeah. Moving on to the 15th type. Nicotinic receptors. They are present in skeletal muscle on the motor end plate, right? The nicotinic receptors, they were of two types, N, N and N, M, right? This N, N, we remembered it like that this is like for neuron, this is for ganglion, right? And this is for muscle, this is for motor end plate. Exactly, right? What happened? An error occurred. You can't see me. Guys, can you see me? Can you see me? Can you just type no, yes, no, no. What I'm asking is that if I'm writing anything, can you see that? Okay, okay, you can see me. Huh? I'm writing hello. Okay, okay. So yeah, this is what we were telling, right? That this is the NM. NM, yeah, okay. So NM would be the answer that is present in skeletal muscle on the motor end plate. NM. Over to the next one. Nicotinic or muscarinic? Which receptor act as transmembrane sodium potassium channels and when activated lead to intracellular depolarization? Right? Nicotinic or muscarinic? Which receptor act as transmembrane sodium potassium channels and when activated lead to intracellular depolarization? Okay. This, again, no one should make a mistake in this. Right? This is, yes, that's right. It has to be nicotinic. Why nicotinic? The reason behind it is that it is on this ganglia. This is like preganglionic fiber, right? And over here, this is postganglionic fiber. This is ganglia. This is where this nicotinic receptor is there. This is where acetylcholine is working. And whether it is sympathetic or it is parasympathetic, there is no tissue over here. It is just the nerves. There is entire electrical activity. Correct. Muscarinic? Who said muscarinic? Alright, Abrar, why? How come you wrote muscarinic? Come on. Relax. You are a good student, right? You study so well. It's okay to watch movie, no problems. Right? But see, this was a conceptual question. This you should not have made incorrect, right? Because there is no muscle, right? How the muscle can come in between when there are all electrical wires? So this is where it has just one purpose: depolarize. That is, just carry on this action potential further, right? So that's where the nicotinic. No, that's okay, right? So nicotinic will come. Next one, the next question. The nicotinic receptor opens when acetylcholine binds to the this. So again, right? Everyone should answer this thing correctly, without beyond any doubt. Right? I need not even explain to this. Right? Nicotinic receptors opens when acetylcholine binds to what? Alpha, beta, gamma, or delta. Which one? Yeah, it is the easiest one. Actually, it is the easiest. It is the easiest. Which one? What's the answer of this? It has to be alpha, right? Because it is right, we have got two subunits of alpha, one unit of beta, one of gamma, one of delta. So that's what we were drawing also, that it was like a closed tunnel and it was like this. This was alpha, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta, gamma, delta, and that's where the acetylcholine was getting connected, and then that's where it was opening, and it was opening into the form of tunnel and the sodium potassium, they were traveling. Fine enough. Next question. 18th. Muscarinic receptors M1, M3 and M5. They increase intracellular concentration of which ion, which together with the DAGA, right, diacetylglycerol, the DAG, that it goes with DAG, results into tissue specific action. So that in DAG, it removes that regulatory control, so that that catalytic control that is now into action, and it leads to phosphorylation of all the tissues, and you get the cellular response. Which ion are we talking about? There is only one ion whose large amount of store is there somewhere, and it is released, right? And that's the calcium for sure, definitely, right? That is for calcium, no doubt about it, right? It is the endoplasmic reticulum who is the massive storage of calcium, and it is released. Okay, good. Moving on to the 19th one. Muscarinic receptors are present on all effector organs and in the parasympathetic nervous system. Muscarinic, M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, right? All of them right? We know this thing so well that it is the M1, M2, M3, M4, and M5, out of which M1, M3, and M5, they all are GQ, correct? M2 and M4, they were like inhibitory, that is GI, right? M1, M3, M5, as we talked about that in case of parasympathetic, it is a day-to-day activity, right? There is not much of the stress. Everything is so beautiful, so easy, right? So in such cases, it is like M1, M3, and M5. They are handling all the normal process. They are present in everyone. In case if there is anything, a brake is to be applied, right? So then we do have that GI, because cells, they will always be requiring the basic functionality, and that basic functionality is given by GQ, right? So GQ will be everywhere. Wherever you want to connect it, correct it, not connect, correct it, that is the inhibit it. So then there are other say receptors available. That's why we said that cells, they are the mix kit, right? In cells, there is a mix kit of receptors which will be working all in synchronicity, right? Moving on to the last question. The nicotinic or muscarinic, which receptor is a channel consisting of 5 subunits, 2 alpha, 2 acetylcholine binds, and 1 beta, 1 delta, 1 gamma? Again, right? You can't make a mistake in this, right? And I know you know the answer, right? Because for the muscarinic, it is like what type? It is a metabolite type, right? It is a metabolite type. So in metabolite, that means it has got all those G protein coupled receptors, right? GPCRs. So GQ, GS, GI, they all are G protein coupled receptors. However, oh, I'm sorry, this is like, just a minute, and I let me explain it like this, right? In reference to this is a channel, right? This is a channel can have 5 subunits, 2 alpha, right? And acetylcholine binds so that it opens, and that's where the nicotinic will come into picture. That's right, right? So these were the questions. Now your scores, right? Oh, okay. So final score, Brad, 18. Okay. Oh, very good. Prasoon. So we have Prasoon with 20. Anyone who has scored 20. 20 out of 20. Yeah, score time. Oh, yes, yes, yes. That 5 marks were for each question, right? So that's okay. Prasun, should I make it 100? Right? Because and I hope it is not okay. So okay. This is easy. Means one right? 1 mark per question. So that gives straight away the idea. Yeah, just do that. How many questions were right? Okay. Okay, Sejal, that is 20 out of 20. Okay. 95 out of 100. Yeah, that is good. 5, 17, 18, 19, 15. Okay. Okay. All right. See, those who have even scored bit less, don't be disheartened. This is not end of the world, right? 15 is written and 3 left and 2 wrong. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's right. These questions were because it was the first test, right? It was the first test. So that's why deliberately it was kept bit easy. But later on, as we'll progress, we'll make these tests more and more tough. Not only that, we'll start putting negative markings, right? And yeah, we can come up with a software also, but fine. At this point of time, so this thing is means I trust you, right? Whatever you are telling, It is the fight with yourself. You should be performing better. So in case if you have scored bit less, right, that's okay. It is not end of the world. Unless and until you don't try, you never know. At least now you know that yes, I was capable of understanding this much. This is the area where I am having trouble, and you will focus on that. So definitely you will be far, far better than anyone who has never attempted, right? I'll definitely do that, right? Today only I am planning to make that Telegram channel, and so that I can remain in touch with you guys. Okay, right? So this is for today, and we meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and we'll start with the concepts of immunity. Again, those last 2 days, that is day 4 and day 5, they are definitely going to be a bit heavy because topic itself is like that. So there we'll go it in such a way that all you need to know about is like, okay, what is bone marrow, what is blood, and at the most thymus. And we'll start our journey from this much basics. Then we'll go all the way that how this immunity works, how this immunity, what exactly is innate immunity, what is acquired immunity, all those things, right? We'll go. Yeah, we win or but never lose. Very nicely written. Yeah, that is good. We win or learn. Right? I'll take this thing into my lectures. We win or learn. And we never lose. That's good. Thank you. Piyush Mishra, I'm sorry, but yesterday you also wrote that. I'm sorry. I don't know him, but I'll try to find out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, anyway, so thank you so much. And right, we'll be in touch. Tomorrow we meet, same time. Thank you and bye bye. Bye. Yeah, happy Lori, all of you. Happy Makar Sankranti. Okay. Thank you.